Welcome everyone to our Wednesday, January 22nd, North Middlesex Council meeting. This time I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, everyone's present. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. If you have any, please forward them through to Alan. Minutes of the previous meeting. Any errors or omissions or business arising? Seeing that, I just have one, and that is, I would ask the clerk on 8.1.1, the childcare renovation project. Are you going to do an update in other business on that?
Thank you, Your Worship. I believe the Director Drew is going to provide one.
Okay, thank you. We are looking for a motion to approve. Moved by Councillor Daigle, seconded by Councillor Nerda. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Delegations, we have none. Department reports. We're starting with Director of Infrastructure and Operations, Sam. You have it, and that is for the renewal of the service agreement.
Thank you, Your Worship, and to members of council. The report I have in front of you tonight addresses renewal of a service agreement with Integris Powerlines, Inc. that covers maintenance services highlighted in the appended agreement regarding our streetlight infrastructure. The previous agreement we had through the municipality with Integris covered the period of 2021 to 2024, and it expired on December 31st of 2024. So the new service agreement being brought forward tonight covers the period of 2025 to 2028. The services are listed in the appended agreement, but as an overview, they include repairs or replacement of our streetlight infrastructure, coordination with municipality capital and development projects, assistance with customer or resident inquiries, and assistance with future budget and inventory works. So the proposed motions being in front of council tonight are that council receives the report DIO 01-2025 regarding the renewal of service agreement with Integris for information, and that council enter into a service agreement with Integris Powerlines, Inc. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Sam. Questions? Councillor Irwin?
Thanks, Your Worship. I just have one question. Given the extent of subdivision development we have in our community, we might be adding street lighting to within the scope of this agreement between now and 2028. Will this agreement cover additional street lighting?
It will, yes. So the way the agreement's set up is that it's through a time and materials basis. So the way it's set up currently or proposed is that, notwithstanding still going through budget discussions, future budget discussions will include assumption of streetlights, and then on a yearly basis, we'll revise the budget to include if we do assume or if we plan to assume. So yes, it will cover that.
Okay. Okay.
Well, then I heard that the budget would go up if they assume more streetlights.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, any other questions? No other questions? We have a recommendation in front of you. What's your wish? Moved by Councillor Nerda, Councillor Irwin, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Our next report is 5.2, and that's from Ashley, and that is for part lot control exemption on 205 and 207 Eagle Street.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor Raw. So I'm just going to share my screen so you have a visual of the location map. So the purpose of my report this evening is to provide an evaluation and recommendation to council for the implementation of a part lot control exemption bylaw for the subject lands, which as noted have a municipal address of 205 and 207 Eagle Street in Park Hill. So the lands are within an existing plan of subdivision, and a part lot control exemption was granted by North Middlesex Council in 2022. However, that bylaw has expired prior to the lands being conveyed to a third-party transferee, which then required a reapplication. If an extension request was received before that expiration date, we would just be granting an extension, but as it expired, we're granting a new bylaw essentially. So part lot control is a tool under the Planning Act, which prevents a registered plan of subdivision from being farther subdivided unless there is municipal approval. So simply put, it prevents the possible uncontrolled division of lots, and the approval authority for part lot control lies with Middlesex County, but it does require a local bylaw passed. So a part lot control exemption bylaw was brought before council as noted in 2022. The bylaw brought before council this evening is exactly the same, except for the expiry date is 1 year from the date of passing of the 2025 bylaw, as well as the update to the legal owner's name. And I did add a point of clarification in the bylaw just for future reference that it is replacing the 2022 bylaw. So staff are of the opinion that the proposed exemption is largely administrative in nature as the contents of the bylaw remain relatively the same. Additionally, it's staff's opinion that the application is consistent with the applicable provincial, county, and local policies, And we are recommending that council receive my report for information, that the associated implementing bylaw be approved and read a first, second, and third and final time this evening, and that council direct the clerk to forward the signed bylaw to Middlesex County for approval. And I'm here if you have any questions.
Thanks, Ashley. Questions for Ashley? On this? No questions? We have a recommendation in front of you. Councillor Keough, Deputy Mayor Hodgins, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Our next report is from Abby, and that is on the official plan review update.
Thank you, Your Honor. So my report is intended to provide council with a brief update on the status of the official plan review project. So essentially, this report just provides council with some information in regards to the ongoing work that we're doing at the county right now, in regards to the update to the county official plan in light of the new provincial planning statement. As a result of the work that we're doing at the county level, staff will be pushing this project approximately 6 to 8 months, with the goal to have a draft official plan amendment in the early fall, and then before council in hopefully November, which is in alignment with the timeline at the county as well. And I am happy to answer any questions you may have. Thanks.
Thanks, Abby. Questions from council? Councillor Canellison.
Thank you, Mayor Rob. Ashley, what's the status of the proposal by the province to have 3 residential units per agricultural property? What's going on with that?
Thank you for your question. So the provincial planning statement does provide policy direction in regards to having 3 units per lot in prime agricultural areas. So through the work that we're doing at the county and in consultation with the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, we are working on policies in that regard. We have been having some regular meetings with them and obtaining some direction on that. So as we work on those at the county level, my intent is to work on North Middlesex's official plan in conjunction with that, so that the policies of North Middlesex's official plan are in conformity with the policies of the county official plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Just an added question to that, if I may. I know that a couple of years ago, we had a discussion on farm sizes, like 20 hectares versus 40 hectares, and it remained consistent at 40 hectares. Will it continue to be at 40 hectares?
Thank you for your question. So County Council did amend the motion at the Section 26 meeting last week that essentially directed staff to review that and look into that again through this upcoming exercise. So that is something that staff will be looking at again. I believe that we have engaged our consultant who did the work last time, but we're still just really working through that just because it did just happen last week.
That just popped out another question. Will anyone be consulting with the agricultural industry itself? Because they're the ones that are going to be most significantly impacted by that decision.
Thank you for your question. So yes, through the work that we're doing at the county, we do typically hold a workshop with members of our agricultural community. And through the work that we're doing locally, we would also be looking to host something of that nature, whether that be virtual, in person, or what have you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Councillor Irwin.
Thank you, Your Worship. I want to follow from Councillor Canellison's last question, and I'm looking for when we will get a schedule for public meetings that we can share with the public, because I really think it's important that we have as much public participation as we can this round.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your question. So I would be happy to start some discussions in regards to the public consultation that we'll be doing with the CAO in the coming days. And I would be happy to report back to council on that as soon as we have kind of firmed that up.
I would also like to add, Your Worship, if I may through you, that we are able to add names or groups to the consultation list. For example, a previous question was around agriculture groups. I know that the Middlesex Federation of Agriculture may not be in line with a 20-acre size for farms, but many small farm groups would be. So I want to ensure that we go beyond the traditional groups and be as inclusive as possible in terms of a consultation process.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. And it was a 20 hectare. Yeah, just not 20. I just want, no, I just
Yeah, you're right. 20 hectare, not 8.
20 hectare,
Sorry,
right.
I'm I'm good by imperial system, not by metric system
Okay.
right now.
Any other questions right now? Counselor Keo?
Thank you, Mayor Rob. I would just like those groups to include the Ontario Federation of Agriculture and OMAFRA as well.
And I believe the last time we went through that and talked about that, they were included in that conversation. Is there any other questions this time? No, we do have a motion to receive this for moved by Counselor Daigle, second by Counselor Nerga. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thanks, Abby. Next one is a report from the treasurer, Ralph, on the 2025 development charges.
Thank you, Your Honor. As you know from your bylaw 58 of 2024, Watson and Associates did a new development charges study in 2023, which reset the base for the development charges. But our original bylaw of 41 from 2022 allows for indexing of that base on an annual program. So what the report in front of you shows is those numbers now indexed for 22, 23, and 24 to give us the 2025 rates, which are just slightly above the rates that were used last year. It's gone up another 3.3%. So cumulatively, since the report, the charges have now increased by about 28.25%.
Since the original report.
Since the original report that was in the bylaw 58 of 2024.
Okay.
So they produced the report late in 23. We had passed it in early 24.
Yep.
But it was based on 2022 dollars.
Okay. Thank you. Questions? Counselor Canellison.
Thank you, Mayor Rob. Ralph, my question, on looking at the slide here on the second appendix, Schedule B, actually. And my question for you is, and I understand the development charges for homes and structures that are built within the urban area where the services are, municipal services are available. What happens are there any, and if so, what kind of development charges would apply to a home built in the rural community, if any?
Through your worship, my understanding is that the upper section of the chart is the rural area charges, and the lower section of the chart is the urban areas.
So just so I'm clear, that's the highway, fire protection, parks and recreation, and growth studies. Okay.
Correct.
Any other questions? Ralph at this time? No other questions? We have a recommendation in front of us. What's your wish? Moved by Counselor Canellison, seconded by Deputy Mayor Hodgins. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thanks, Ralph. Our next is committee reports. Lake Huron Primary.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, ABCA.
Nothing this month, yet.
Okay, Blue Water Recycling. Anything you'd like to add to that?
No, that was just all the information that came forward. So I just passed that on.
Okay, any questions no questions on that? Economic Development.
I'm not sure if, Alan, you want to speak to this?
Is there anything you want to add first? And then we'll.
And there's nothing to add.
Nothing? Okay. Alan, go ahead.
Well, this is coming from January 8th, where there was proposed changes to the terms of reference. I can speak to the technical changes made, but I can't really speak to the general body that's been modified. So the changes that I have made to this is to adhere to the Municipal Act when it comes to quorum of council. So the new proposal from the clerk's department for this particular terms is 2 members of council, 1 ex officio. If one of the members of council is unable to attend, the ex officio officer will have to attend so that we have 2 members of council participating. I yield to Director Drew for any other terms changes.
Sorry, any questions on that? No questions? Okay, so you want to do, we have a motion in front of us here on this. Let's do them one at a time. We have a recommendation motion front. Is anybody going to move it? And the motion is updated terms of reference for the Economic Development Advisory Committee be considered during the reading of the bylaws. Moved by Councillor Nelson and Councillor Irwin. Seconded. All in favor? Carried. The local school advisory. Councillor Irwin.
Your worship, we had to postpone the previous meeting given family matter, but I would like to inform council who weren't there, and yourself, your worship, were there, and Councillor Daigle, CAO, Director of Economic Development Community Services, and myself did what I termed to be a very successful delegation on the importance of local school and coordination of planning between municipalities and local school for future schools to the Ministry of Education at Roma on Monday. I think it was very well received, and I think is a basis for a future presentation in late April to the school board, when I believe that'll be hosted at the county.
Yeah, that's coming up at the county that they're coming to. I agree. You did a great job, Councillor Irwin, of getting that message across. Councillor Daigle, Carol and myself were all at that meeting. And sorry, so was Brandon. Sorry, Brandon. I didn't mean to do that. It was very good representation. The deputy minister was not the minister in this case, but they talked about his involvement. He was on a school board, Peel Region, I believe. And so he understood some of these issues. That was good. It was well received. I just want to your comment about you had to delay the meeting. I just want to pass on our condolences for the loss of your mother. Okay, next, Recreation Committee. Is there anything on the Rec Committee that you want to add?
Nothing for me. It's just a same update kind of as the other.
Yep. Okay. Go ahead, Alan.
Your worship, it is the same municipal act correction.
Okay. Is there any questions for anybody on that? Seeing none, you're going to move the motion. Moved by Councillor Nerda, seconded by Deputy Mayor Hodgins. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, Policy Committee, Review Committee. Councillor Daigle.
Once again, okay, the inclement, or if any questions first on the minutes? If not, we'll talk about the inclement weather policy, and that was just an update. So you're looking at me here, huh?
Yeah.
But
Is there any questions on that weather policy? Okay, go ahead, Councillor Nelson.
My question is for the inclement weather policy, and I was just reading through it. And the one thing I have is how does this apply to the public works sector? Since they're the ones that we rely on to keep the roads clear.
Yeah, Carolyn, we'll pass that to you.
In general, it doesn't. In most cases, this is primarily to do with our facilities in the municipal office itself.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on that? Yeah, we first need a motion to approve the minutes for November the 8th. Moved by Councillor Daigle, seconded by Councillor Keel. All in favor? Carried. And then the next is to approve the policy for the Councillor Daigle and seconded Councillor Keel. All in favor? Carried. And we do have another one, that is the asset retirement obligation.
and I'll hand that over to Ralph.
Nice. 15 words or less.
No, go ahead, Ralph.
Asset retirement obligation is a accounting standard that has been imposed on us by the Public Sector Accounting Board and is effective January 1 of 2022. And we need to have it in place for our 2023 statements. So this is basically not an option. It's we have to.
Any questions on it? Councillor Irwin.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you, I'm curious, what additional work will this incur in terms of our department or our municipality in your department?
The guy next to you can answer this almost as well as I can, in that there is going to be a lot of new work in terms of monitoring assets and making sure that when an asset is retired, that the appropriate liabilities are relieved off the balance sheet, and that we are theoretically required to annually update the estimated costs that relate to those liabilities. And those are all going to be engineering-based calculations of future costs. So it's going to be a lot of left hand, right hand, doing a lot of work together to keep these up to date and making sure that we've recorded them according to the new accounting standard.
Is there anything you want to add to that, Sam?
No, that was
Okay.
comprehensive. I agree with what Ralph said.
I will make a comment that we're fortunate that Sam has joined the team because he has worked on that type of thing before. So, yeah. Any other questions on this? You have a question? No? Seeing that moving the motion, moved by Councillor Daigle, seconded by Councillor Irwin. All in favor? Carried. Fire committee, anything there?
No.
Okay. Budget committee? I did talk with Ralph and I talked briefly this afternoon or this morning, and we did talk about, we need to here fairly soon get together a budget committee meeting to talk about where we'd like to start, where we'd like to be at, that type of, okay. Yeah. All right, Community Development Fund Committee. We did meet and we did go through it. So those are coming through. Are they for next meeting? The results of those? Oh, sorry, Alan.
Yeah, yes, your worship. We'll bring a information package to the next meeting for approval.
Perfect. Aqua Client Advisory Board. Nothing? Middlesex County OPP Board.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Nothing yet?
Okay. Meeting in February.
Meeting in February? Okay. Correspondence, Ellis Craig District Lions Club, thank you letter. Kincardine property taxation implications. Aylmer opposition to provincial cycling lanes legislation. Nothing, just receive and file. Okay, other and urgent business. I believe Alan, you or is Brandon going to talk about? Brandon, we're going to take that?
So Mayor Ropp, members of council, just an update on the report for the childcare. There is two motions that I would like to be made from the last meeting. The first one relates to the fee for K&L. The actual general contractor fee is $42,000, not $80,000. $80,000 are their general conditions. And I would like that council approve the budgeted amount of $250,000 for the municipal portion of the project. The rest of the project will be covered 100% by grant funding. 250 is our estimated budget for our side, and that includes the 40 and 80 built into that as well.
Questions? Councillor Irwin.
Just one point of order here, your worship, and I'm happy to support these tonight, but I wish in future, even if it's a verbal report presented at council, we have a one-page laydown so we can have a paper copy to add to our files. Verbal reports are fine, but especially when dealing with money, I'd like to see something in writing to be included in future for council. Tonight, I'd be happy to support these, but in future, I'd like to see something in writing.
Brandon.
And through the mayor to the councillor, I certainly would have liked something as well. This came up today. We had a site meeting with the contractor and it was just a very last minute. We realized that we missed a motion in the last report. So I wanted to get that done so we can move forward.
And I did have a
certainly
question,
agree.
and I will say I did have a question on that in the minutes of that meeting as well. And they said they were going to report to it, but we can still do a written report on this, right?
Yeah. So to the mayor and council, what I would like is once we actually have the finalized project and a line by line budget, I will be bringing that to council for information purposes. But for this purpose, I would like to move forward. So.
Okay. Any other questions? No other questions? Councillor Irwin.
Since I said I would support this, I will move the
Okay.
recommendation.
You'll move that. You'll move that. Seconded by Councillor Daigle. All in favor? Carried. Any other business? Other business at it? No other business at this time. Communications, including county council? Nothing? I would just make a comment to it. If you read that, you'd see there was a report of the rapid response from MLPS. And I have asked them to include that report that they gave to all of our lower tiers, because it's a really good news report of what's happened. But whether it's good news or not, I'd still like to see those filter down to the lower tiers. Councillor Irwin.
Thank you, Worship. I did have the opportunity to spend some time with the mayor of Middlesex Center at Roma, who is helping to lead the host delegation from Cambodia in our community. And there is a number of opportunities for that delegation to come to some of our sites, agricultural business sites in North Middlesex. And I think we should reach out and ensure that they be able to tour some of our sites, not just other parts of the county.
Right. And I just got some information on the dates here this morning, actually. So I'll be at the county on Friday and we'll see what we can do. Okay. But there will be a reception that we'll all be invited to as well at the county. Anything else on that? Seeing nothing? All right. Reading of the bylaws.
Thank you, Your Worship. That bylaws 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8 of 2025 be read first and second time.
Councillor Daigle. Deputy Mayor Hodgins, all in favor? Third and final. Councillor Keogh. Councillor Irwin, all in favor? Carried. Okay, we need to go into close, don't we? So we are looking for a motion to go into closed for personal matters, 239 2B, for the minutes and personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Moved by Councillor Keogh, Councillor Nerda, all in favor? Carried. All right, let's just take a minute.